each department has their own set of KPIs, right? And our our leadership team does an amazing job at really allowing people to be CEOs of their own space, their own expertise, right? So each department has their own set of KPIs that define their performance. Are we performing? Are we hitting, our key metrics and so on? For our space, obviously, it's so much bigger in how we look at our key performance indicators. And I find this really interesting when we're working on, our quarterly objectives and we're thinking through that. We are obviously looking at key performance indicators like CSAT, right? How good are we providing of service when somebody comes to us in, an email or any channel, SMS, phones, whatever it may be? We're going to measure kind of, how was that transaction, so to speak, that conversation. So we're looking at CSAT. We're looking at like post-purchase experience, right? Like how would this consumer rate us? We're looking at NPS. But for my team specifically, there's so many specific key performance indicators, and a few of them that are real testament to our efficiencies and the metrics that we put in place are like our cost per ticket, right? Every consumer that comes in with some sort of a question or problem, we're going to track that, and we're going to look at that one specific conversation, and we're going to measure it based on several KPIs. The cost per ticket is really saying, how is our team, our customer experience team, how effective are we? And you think of that through, does the consumer have to come into our queues, or are we proactively providing an experience that's going to answer all those questions to minimize the volume that's coming into the support queue, right? To have to ask a question. So there's so many intricacies of what we do, but standard KPIs, when I look at them through industry standards, I mean, we are so beyond industry standards. And when I meet with vendors, they don't believe me. When I share with them our KPI metrics, they're like, no way. When I share with them our cost per ticket, when I share with them our revenue per ticket, people don't believe that these are actual metrics. And the reality is that is because we work efficiently. And I have the saying, I always say, let's work smarter, not harder. And so the reality is, for me, it goes back to that idea of we have to be adding value. We have to be adding purpose. We need to be a low cost, because that's how we show the organization our value. And that's why after 4 years of being here, our team hasn't needed to scale, because we continue to find more efficiencies, right? We continue to leverage technologies that are going to help us be more efficient and tackle that. And we continue to look at experience of our consumers to say, okay, what can we enhance so that we do not create friction, right? We drive more checkout. We limit our bounce rate and all of that. So the KPIs of the organization, again, each department has individually, and then we collaborate. And I think that's what makes our team so successful, is the collaboration that we have together. You touched on culture, and it really starts there, right? It starts with taking out a hierarchy and knowing that we're all marching towards the same goal, and we've all got to work collectively in order to achieve that goal. And that's, I think, how and why as a brand we are performing and outperforming so well, is because we're collaborating. We're super big on data. We're super big on performance. So each team is looking at those KPI metrics as a goal, and we're achieving them. And then we don't just get complacent and say, okay, we're hitting our KPIs, everything's great, right? Then we say, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next? And we continue to evolve and grow. So hopefully that helps answer it. I think there's so many KPIs that we could go into, but it's all encompassing from my perspective. So it could probably get a little bit overwhelming, but at the end of the day, that's kind of how we roll.